them deliverables or 3 elements to basically making a presentation to an investor. First is your teaser. So basically it's going to be a very short document, ideally 1 page, that really sells the concept and sells that you have the capability to do that particular thing. So it's just a 1-page document. The second is, again, the business plan, which lays out in much more detail, the idea, your capability. Basically, the chapters of a business plan would be the history of the company, the business itself in terms of what it's going to do and how it's going to do it, the management team, describing the backgrounds of all of the managers, and then the financial projections, where there would be a page which would be just a summary of the assumptions, and then the actual output of the financial model itself. Obviously, you adapt the business plan based on the type of business. There might be a section on the regulatory environment, or actually there would be a section on sort of the market, for your product. But that's the idea is you're putting together a full business plan that really gives a good feel and convincing story as to why what you're doing makes sense. The third part then of what you're preparing for investors is, which is a part of the business plan, is the financial model. And it's an Excel spreadsheet that's going to have basically all of the assumptions, an income statement, a cash flow statement, and ideally a balance sheet. Yeah, I think a lot of entrepreneurs can describe what they want to do, and maybe even, and probably even how they plan to do it. But I think, as in any story, the story itself has to be tailored to the audience that you're going to be sending it to. And I think that's one thing that's probably the biggest role of a transaction advisor, project finance advisor, or whatever, is to bridge the gap between the way of thinking of the entrepreneur, which would be way over here, and the way of thinking of the investor base, which is going to be way over here. And the investor base is going to be, it's fragmented. You have the grantors who are looking for a particular thing. If you're trying to get a grant, the business plan has to be tailored to grantors, maybe even to U.S. grantors, maybe even U.S. grantors that are focusing on gender issues or on impact issues. So you have to write a very particular story. You have equity investors. They're looking for something completely different from the grantors, right? And you have to tailor the story towards them. If you're looking for debt, you're going to write a debt-tailored business plan, which is going to show the lenders how they're going to get their interest and get their principal paid over time, and how their risks are mitigated. And again, they all have very different interests. That is the primary role of helping the entrepreneur, is to write the business plan in a way that is targeted for its audience.